everybody, welcome to Catherine Souls. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, I'm inviting you to come on an unforgettable journey with me, and not just anywhere, but here in my own country of Canada. I'm teaming up once again with the fabulous travel designer Erica from Open Doors Travel, a tour operator here in the Vancouver area. For a while now, Erica and I have been planning international fashion-focused tours, and after much anticipation, we have finally launched a tour of sustainable fashion in Canada. I will be your host on this trip, and I cannot wait to travel with you and a small group of new friends. This fall, from October 22nd to 29th, we'll be touring two of Canada's most fashion-forward, vibrant, and exciting cities, Montreal, Quebec, and Toronto, Ontario. This tour is for makers, creators, upcyclers, and anyone who's passionate about fashion, travel, and sustainability. And, of course, a bit of adventure. We'll travel together as a small group, anywhere from about 10 to 15 people, for a week of hands-on workshops, studio visits, museum exhibits, incredible food, thrifting, and fabric shopping. And upcycling, all set against the beautiful golden colors of a Canadian autumn. Autumn in Ontario and Quebec is a gorgeous time of year. The average temperature in Montreal during the last couple weeks of October typically ranges from a high of about 10 degrees Celsius or 50 degrees Fahrenheit to a low of about 2 degrees Celsius or 36 degrees Fahrenheit. The second half of October in Ontario and Quebec is a wonderful time for the bright, colorful autumn colors. And now doing a trip like this is something that's difficult to do as an individual. We're going to be getting into studios and doing workshops that you wouldn't really be able to do on your own. But the beauty of doing it with a small group like this is that you instantly have a whole new set of friends that love the same things that you love, and making things together, being creative together, problem solving together. Those are very bonding experiences. And they're things that if I went on my own, I wouldn't be able to do on my own or with my family. My family, love them to bits, but they're just not interested in the same things that I love to do. So this kind of group travel is really all about you and what you love and the people that you want to hang out with. So we'll come from anywhere in the world and we'll meet in Montreal for 3 full days and 3 nights in Montreal. We'll stay right in the heart of the city and dive right into the creative scene. Erica always sets us up in fantastic hotels and finds us great restaurants for our group meals. Montreal is a city with deep cultural roots and a strong fashion identity. It's known as the fashion capital of Canada, and once you see it, you'll understand why. Our journey begins along Sherbrooke Street, a grand boulevard lined with Victorian mansions, many of which have been transformed into museums and galleries. Sherbrooke Street was once home to the city's elite and is known for the Golden Square Mile District, with its historical architecture, fancy hotels, and elegant mansions. This area is also famous for its luxury boutiques and upscale shopping, such as Holt Renfrew, which since 1837 has been Canada's most iconic luxury retailer, carrying every major fashion brand as well as their own line. We'll visit the McCord Stewart Museum, where this fall they have a special exhibit called Afrique Mode, which is the only Canadian stop of a fashion exhibit that was curated by the Victoria and Albert Museum in London, England. This exhibit is one of the largest ever devoted to African fashion, and it invites audiences to immerse themselves in the creativity of designers from across Africa. The exhibition brings together men's, women's, and gender-neutral clothing and accessories, as well as jewelry, textiles, photography, music, and art from the 1960s to the present, demonstrating the role that textiles, clothing, and body adornment have played in African culture. It looks like it's going to be just stunning and very inspirational, so I can't wait to see that exhibit with you. We'll walk through the charming streets of Old Montreal, where you're going to feel like you're in Europe. And yes, Montreal has incredible restaurants, which we will definitely sample, but no trip to Quebec is complete without poutine, and no trip to Montreal is complete without their fabulous bagels and delis. And of course, there's the famous Montreal smoked meat, which makes the most delectable sandwich. Schwartz's Deli is an icon and a must visit, so let's go there for lunch before we head out for more thrift shopping. One of the most meaningful parts of this trip will be a visit to an Indigenous designer's fashion studio just outside Montreal. We'll meet the designer and we'll learn about the integration of the Mohawk identity and traditional materials into their contemporary fashion. And we'll get to take part in a hands-on workshop led by Indigenous artisans. So it's more than just a craft session. It's a chance to respectfully engage in stories, practices, and perspectives that deepen our understanding of what sustainable fashion truly means. We'll also head into some of Montreal's most iconic neighborhoods, Mile End and the Plateau. With Jewish, French, and Irish roots, these neighborhoods tell stories through their architecture and through their creative energy. These areas are filled with character, history, and some of the best vintage shopping in the country. Mile End is one of Montreal's most charming neighborhoods, filled with independent boutiques, vintage shops, delicious bakeries, coffee shops, and more restaurants than you can count. And the Plateau is probably the most famous neighborhood in Montreal. The beautiful architecture, spiral staircases, and street art make it one of the city's most popular areas. There are clusters of great fashion shops, vintage boutiques, thrift gems, and upcycled fashion shops in this area. So we'll spend time thrifting, exploring upcycled fashion, and stopping for fresh bagels and espresso along the way. And yes, of course, we're going to squeeze in some awesome fabric shopping. There are a couple of excellent fabric stores right close to these areas. And all of this thrifting and fabric shopping is leading up to the part of the trip that I'm most excited about, but I'll get to that in a minute. In the evening, we'll take in a view from Mount Royal, which will be a peaceful end to a beautiful day in this magical city. So after 3 days and 3 nights in Montreal, we will bid Montreal au revoir and we'll get on the Via Rail train for a 5.5-hour beautiful train ride from Montreal to Toronto's Union Station. Toronto is Canada's largest and most diverse city. So we'll pull into Union Station, check into our hotel, and then you'll have free time that evening to have dinner at any of Toronto's amazing restaurants. Most of the dinners in the trip will be together and are covered in the price, but Erica and I decided that it would be nice to have free time if you wanted to check out restaurants that you've searched up or that you've heard about. I think that the little bits of free time in both cities will give you a chance to really personalize the trip for yourself. And one area you might want to check out is Toronto's Distillery District. It's a really cool district with a very interesting history and fantastic restaurants. Toronto is loaded with great restaurants and an amazing nightlife. If you are a bit of a night owl and if you want to head out in the town, I will go with you. In Toronto, we'll spend the rest of our tour discovering new designers, museum collections, and of course, even more thrifting and fabric shopping. We'll visit the Royal Ontario Museum, or the ROM, which is Canada's largest museum of culture and history. At the ROM, we'll explore exhibits that celebrate global cultures, Indigenous artistry, and the intersection of fashion and history. The ROM is really a world-class museum, and it's always just beautiful to wander through it. And then very close, just across the street from the ROM, is the Bata Shoe Museum. It's a beautiful, big museum that is entirely devoted to shoes. They have over 13,000 shoes and related artifacts spanning over 4,500 years of history. The ROM and the Bata Shoe Museum are right in the heart of Toronto's most exciting shopping district. So for the rest of the day, you'll have free time to explore fashion districts like Yorkville, Bloor Street, Yonge Street. There's even a huge fabric land right on Bloor Street. And as a special treat, Erica has designed a one-day adventure where we'll leave Toronto for a day trip to the Niagara region. If you've never seen Niagara Falls, it is spectacular and amazing and way bigger than you could ever imagine. The Niagara region is known as a wine region. We'll get to some vineyards and do a wine tasting. We'll head into the quaint and lovely town of Niagara-on-the-Lake and explore the cute little shops there. And in Niagara-on-the-Lake, there is the Shaw Festival, and so we'll be able to take in a play that evening. We're hoping to get a behind-the-scenes glimpse at a costume design workshop or a hand mending workshop. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. Erica's working on a couple more special treats for us, such as a studio visit with another celebrated Indigenous fashion designer for an inspiring behind-the-scenes look at her work, and possibly a visit to one of Canada's top pattern-making companies. But what I'm personally most excited about is on one of the last days of the trip, after fabric shopping and thrift shopping in Montreal and in Toronto, I'm hoping to book us into a sewing studio in Toronto where we can have time sewing, creating, problem solving, crafting, and upcycling together. This kind of group activity is so much fun and so bonding, and I already know that for me, this is going to be the most memorable part of the trip. What makes trips like this so special isn't necessarily the places we go, but the people that we go with. This tour is about making connections with artists, designers, cultural artifacts, and mostly with each other. Whether you come alone or with a friend, you'll leave with new ideas, fresh inspiration, a few extra treasures in your suitcase, and a whole group of new friends. So what do you think? Are you in? I'm definitely in. I'm super excited to travel with you. So if you're interested, I'll put a link in the description. Click that link. It'll take you to the Open Doors website where Erica will take excellent care of you. All the details are there, but I will tell you right now that the price of the trip in Canadian dollars is $6,699, and that includes your hotel, all the tours, most of your meals. Your airfare would be separate. Erica can either book it for you or you book it yourself because we're all coming from different parts of Canada, the US, anywhere in the world, and we'll be meeting in Montreal. So the airfare is separate, but having been on Erica's tours before, I know she's going to set us up with nice hotels, beautiful meals, and whenever anything goes wrong, she's always right there to help us out. So I think the trip will sell out quickly. I really want you to get your seat, so click that link and I will see you in Montreal. And until then, you take care.